Conversion tracking is a massive issue that I see in almost every Google Ads account. It's almost always done wrong, and I genuinely don't think I've ever come into a Google Ads account and seen a perfect setup when I've entered it. In 7-figure brands, 8-figure brands, even 9-figure brands, I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do in order to set up the most robust and the easiest for attribution, for tracking, the best possible conversion tracking setup that you can have in Google Ads, how to implement it through both a dual tracking of Shopify and a custom setup. And I'll give you a full conversion tracking guide that I used to sell, but is now completely free to help you set up that custom tracking template with all the code included, all the templates you need, and everything to get your perfect tracking setup so you have clear attribution, you're feeding back clear data to Google, and you're making the most money possible with Google Ads and automated bidding strategies. So let me walk you through what our goal is with conversion tracking here. So this is an example of, as far as I'm concerned, a perfect setup, right? This is one that we've set up in one of our clients' accounts. You can see for every action here, we have the dual tracking conversion actions in the account. So we have the Google Tag Manager custom tracking setup, which is the one that we set up with our full custom guide, which I'll walk you through in a moment. And then we also have the Shopify tracking, which is typically quite accurate. As you can see here, they are representing very, very similar values, a minor discrepancy between them, but this is kind of just attribution based on the different tracking methods and attribution differences. Ultimately, because the values are so similar, it indicates there's not much to worry about. If these values were vastly different, then we'd know that there's something going wrong with our tracking. And that's the beauty of a dual action setup, because when you have two conversion actions, it allows you to very clearly see if there is a problem, if something's going wrong, and if you need to make adjustments. Because the last thing you want to do is be spending thousands of dollars a day on Google Ads and then find out that your tracking has just broken and not have a backup and be scrambling trying to fix it while you're feeding back really low quality or zero data at all to Google. So it's very, very important to have the dual action set up. I cannot stress that enough. And if you are serious about Google Ads and making money with Google Ads, you should always have the double action setup. So you can see here we have the double actions for purchase, we have the double actions for add to cart, we have the double actions for begin checkout, and then we have the standard Google actions, standard Shopify actions for all of our page view here and other. So basically what this allows us to do, like I said, is compare across the different attribution methods and ensure that everything looks good. Very important note here is that we only want a single action to be primary if you're an e-commerce brand. You only want to have one purchase action as primary. We like to use our GTM purchase action as primary because we trust our custom tracking setup and we find it to be very accurate. However, if you want to set your Shopify event as the primary event, that's fine as well. I just recommend always only have one because you do not want to be duplicate tracking your conversions. Then all of the revenue figures, all the conversion value figures in your account will be duplicate and they'll be basically emphasized way beyond where they actually are. So make sure that you only have a single primary event in here, and that primary event is one of your purchase events, ideally one that is very reliable, such as our custom setup. So this is the end goal. Now, how are we going to get here? First of all, the first and easiest setup is through Shopify. So I recommend doing this one before you do the custom setup because it's very quick and easy. It literally takes 5 minutes and it lets you have a fully functioning conversion tracking system, which is super, super straightforward. Now, if you aren't using Shopify currently, this tutorial won't be relevant to you. This is only for Shopify stores. So if you aren't using Shopify, click off now. I will create a video in the future for non-Shopify stores, but I know that the vast majority of stores do run on Shopify, and that's why we've got this guide here. So as you can see, the first step for setting up conversion tracking for your Shopify store is to go into the Google and YouTube sales channel. So make sure that you have the Google and YouTube sales channel installed on your store. And then once you have installed it, enter the sales channel. And then the first thing it'll ask you to do is to link your Google Ads account. Make sure that you link your Google Ads account and your Google account that is associated with your Google Ads account. Don't link a Google profile that isn't associated with your Google Ads account. Otherwise, you won't be able to link your account. So basically, when you put your email in, make sure it's the email that's your admin for your Google Ads account and your Google Merchant Center account and any other Google accounts that you use as well, just to simplify and streamline this process. Otherwise, you can end up with kind of emails in the wrong places and you can get stuck at certain points. So just make sure you set up using the email that is the admin on your Google Ads account. Once you've done that, it should be very straightforward. All you do is you follow the prompts on Shopify. And then you click up the top a tab called Settings. So there'll be 3 tabs. It'll be like Overview, Merchant Center, a couple others. Click Settings. And once you click settings, you want to scroll down here and make sure that conversion measurement is turned on. So you can see it has a tick here. It means it's turned on for this store. And we have the option to turn it off, but we don't want to do that. So make sure conversion measurement is turned on, and then go into conversion event settings. You may already have to, in some cases it asks you to clarify these event settings when you are turning on conversion measurement, but otherwise, you can look at it afterwards, go in here and just verify that everything's accurate. So you can see here, measure conversions, and it shows you what Shopify events are mapped to which conversion events in Google Ads. So you can see here, for example, the checkout completed is mapped to Google Shopping app purchase, right? So this is basically the purchase Shopify event is mapped to the purchase Google Ads conversion event. As you can see over here, Google Shopping app purchase. If we look back in Google, we can see Google Shopping app purchase. So that means that event is linked directly to the Shopify event that represents a purchase on your store. So this means if you have this set up, this should be the automatic setup that you should have linked straight away when you turn on conversion tracking. If your setup looks like this, you're all good. If you have mapping here that you want to customize, if you want to link them to different conversion events in Google Ads, I'm not too sure why you would, to be honest. I've never had to. But if you do need to for any reason, you can just click manage here and you can edit the mapping destinations to whatever your heart desires. But in this case, all I would recommend is just sticking with the initial conversion tracking setup here because this works very, very well. So that's it. That's literally all you have to do on Shopify. Once that's saved, once you close out of that, give your Google Ads account like 10 minutes to load, and then you'll see all of these actions cascade in, and they all track really, really well. As you can see here, we have a little bit of an issue with this one, the Google Shopping app purchase from Shopify, in that the cart data is not full. You sometimes get these kind of issues. They're usually not major, they're usually not a big issue, but that's why we like using GTM here, because as you can see, the GTM is active without any concerns. So now I'm going to show you how to do our custom GTM setup. This is a little bit more involved, but once again, I think it's so worthwhile to get it done because it means that you have the dual action setup, you have a backup conversion action, and you can always make sure that you are tracking the right numbers and you are sending all of the necessary information back to Google Ads. So as you can see here, I've got a full Gamma doc guide that walks you through how to set up the conversion tracking. Now, I'm not going to go step by step with every step in this guide because it will take quite some time, and I literally have broken down every single step for you in here, so you actually don't I don't have to create a video for it because you can just walk through, follow all the screenshots, follow all the instructions, and you will get it done. In saying that though, if you have any issues, please feel free to reach out. I can make another video on walking through the step by step, but I'm confident in you guys. I know you can do it. All you have to do is download this tracking setup from the link below, and this guide will be available for you to download, where you can get the full document completely free, and you can implement everything here. So the way that this basically works is, what we're doing is, first of all, we are checking to make sure there aren't any dysfunctional tags in your account. So if you've tried to set up any custom tracking solutions in the past through your Shopify store for Google Ads, there could be some issues. I've honestly, very rarely does this occur. But if you have any old tags, old tracking setup attempts in your account, it could sometimes throw things off. So just follow these pre-setup checks here to make sure that everything is smooth, everything's laid out well in your account. If you haven't tried to do this in the past, this won't be an issue. Next up, you just got to make sure your Google Ads settings are verified in the right way, so you have everything set correctly. These are just a few windows and boxes you got to tick, nothing too crazy. Then the next step is setting up the conversion actions. So basically, the flow of this setup is, first you create the events in Google Ads. So you create them manually by going back to Google Ads and clicking create conversion. And you basically create each of these events. And then once you create them, you set up a container in Google Tag Manager. And when you are in your Google Tag Manager container, you can upload our fully custom template here. All you have to do is basically just upload this container template. It has everything in there ready to go. All you have to do is switch out a few numbers with your own, and then basically you put in your own numbers from the conversions that you set up in Google Ads. And then once you've put those in, you go over to Shopify, you copy in our fully custom Shopify tracking script once again, swap out a couple numbers, very straightforward. Once that's all done, you save on Shopify, save on GTM, make sure to publish on GTM. So many issues I see where people just forget to hit publish, and that's all it is. Like, they have everything set up perfectly, they just forget to hit publish. Make sure on GTM you have hit publish on your container. And then also, once you have published GTM, once you've saved your Shopify settings and your custom pixel in Shopify, and you have connected your custom pixel in Shopify, then everything should be live. and the data will start syncing back to Google Ads. And then within 1 to 2 days, once you start to get some data in the account, you can just check. Basically, first you'll see stuff come through add to cart. As you know, people add to cart, then begin checkout, then purchase. So you'll start by seeing some add to cart conversions come through. Make sure that there is close alignment between the GTM event and the Google Shopping event. Again, a little bit of a discrepancy isn't a big deal. It's pretty natural. It's just a result of different attribution modeling methods. So don't worry too much about it. As long as both of them have actions coming through, they both say active, and there aren't any critical errors, then you've set it up correctly, you're rolling, and everything is good. Once again, final check, make sure that you have the single primary event, which is one of your purchase events, and everything else is secondary. You don't want anything else to be primary except for the one purchase event. And there you go, Bob's your uncle. You have officially created and set up a dual tracking system in Google Ads that's going to be highly effective and going to be literally everything you need until you scale up to 10 figures, right? You don't need anything more than this. This is everything you need in Google Ads to track effectively. You can start using third-party attribution tools, which I do actually recommend at around that 7-8 figure mark. If you are running cross-platform across, Meta, TikTok, Snapchat, Google, etc., you want to make sure that you do have a third-party tracking tool like Triple Whale, Northbeam, something like that, to make sure that you can identify your main audience sources, your main attribution levers, and what's actually driving most of your purchases. But that's a video for another day. I hope you found this one very useful. Once again, please download that conversion tracking guide from down below, completely free. It'll be super helpful and will help you set up a very, very robust tracking system alongside your Shopify conversion tracking. And with everything there, you'll be all set to dominate in Google Ads. If you want some help getting all this set up in your account, you don't want to do it yourself, or if you want some help scaling up your Google Ads and making sure that you are generating as many conversions as possible and tracking them, please feel free to book a call with me down below. I'm more than happy to chat with you about it, figure out how we can help you scale up on Google, especially 7-8 figure brands coming into Black Friday now. You really want to be making sure that you're capitalizing on all of that Q4 traffic because it is super high intent and super high potential revenue for you. That's all from me today. I hope you guys found this one useful. If you have any suggestions for future videos, please drop them in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next one.